Here is your General Hospital spoilers sneak peek video for Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. Port Charles is stunned by 2 resurrections in 2 weeks, and the resurrected people in question happen to be brother and sister, as well as the children of Cesar Faison and Liesel Obrecht. Anna knows that those facts cannot be a coincidence and has a whole lot of explaining to do. First, she calls Nina into her office and tells her that she has some big news about her brother. Imagine Nina's shock at learning that Jay is alive and at General Hospital. Then, Anna has to deal with Felicia, who walks into Nathan's room at GH and can't believe the patient before her is her allegedly dead son-in-law. Or at least, that's who he looks like. The fingerprints say he is Nathan, and we suspect his DNA will as well. But is he Nathan? After absorbing the enormity of finding his mother had passed in her sleep, Jason needs to get away from the Q estate, so he visits Britt and tells her what happened. Britt feels guilty for keeping Jason from Monica during her final weeks of life, but Jason is glad he was in Croatia to save Britt and Jocelyn, and tells Britt that he was right where he belonged. Drew doesn't seem to care what happened to Monica, or that his own actions led to someone being desperate enough to shoot him. Instead, he barks out demands as usual. Jordan advises Drew to use his second chance at life to do better, but Drew has no interest. Instead, he needs to see his lawyer, who needs to explain his association with Drew to Stella. Curtis and Portia's marriage has been destroyed by Drew. Now Portia is telling Curtis that his efforts are too little, too late. But does she mean those words? At least Curtis didn't use their last fight as an opportunity to cheat. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. General Hospital spoilers hint that Lulu Spencer may want a restraining order against Britt Westbourne, but will furious Rocco Falconeri sneak meetings with her anyway? Rocco was incredibly curious about Britt when he thought she was gone forever. The news that Britt had returned from the dead caught Rocco off guard and left him feeling a little more uncertain, but coming face-to-face with Britt seemed to help. Now Rocco wants Britt to follow him on social media and appears to be interested in building a connection. Rocco definitely has questions that only Britt can answer, so his curiosity has been stirred up once again. However, Lulu's attempt to make peace and establish some guidelines ended in a major blow-up with Britt. Since Britt thinks she's more of a mother to Rocco than Lulu is and still views him as Ben, Lulu feels like she's a psycho who doesn't belong near her child. Lulu made it clear that Britt wouldn't have a chance to tell stories from when Rocco was a baby, and ultimately warned Britt to stay away from him. Of course, it's going to be tough for Lulu to enforce that unless she takes some legal action. Could Lulu work on getting a restraining order against Britt and infuriate Rocco in the process? Whether Lulu actually gets one or not, Rocco would probably be livid to find out it's even being considered. GH fans know Rocco is especially sensitive to the topic of restraining orders right now, since Drew Kane is using them to keep Rocco and many of Scout Quartermain's other loved ones at a distance. If Lulu tries to pull a similar move and keep Britt away from Rocco, he may flip out and totally turn against his mom. Others have tried to warn Lulu that hindering Rocco's search for Britt answers would only make him more determined to get them. That's particularly true now that Britt's right there in the flesh for Rocco to quiz. Trying to keep Rocco apart from Britt could damage his relationship with Lulu and lead to him sneaking meetings behind his mom's back. General Hospital spoilers say there's much more conflict to come between Britt and Lulu, so stay tuned for updates on all the escalating hostility. General Hospital spoilers reveal we have to ask, who's behind Britt Westbourne's meds and note? Is C for Cesar Faison or someone else? In the September 22nd episode, Britt found a package wrapped with a bow waiting on her bed. Once Britt opened it, she found the drug doses she needed along with a card, which warned her not to forget to take her medicine. That card was signed C, so fans are naturally wondering who the sender is. Considering the fact that Britt and Nathan West are both back from the grave, no one can rule out the idea of Cesar Faison returning too. Faison's brain is supposedly in a jar, but that's not a deal-breaker on soaps. It'd be easy for GH writers to explain that away, so it's wise to keep an open mind about Faison being alive. That said, the show might be trying to trick viewers with a red herring. Maybe they want fans to believe C is for Caesar when it's actually for someone else entirely, like a Cassadine. Victor Cassadine might be an option if he faked his own death and somehow ended up taking over Faison's operations. But that doesn't really fit with the mystery boss being fond of Brit. It makes more sense that this mysterious character has a personal Brit connection. Of course, we can't ignore the fact that Nathan just crashed his truck and landed at GH, so the timing is interesting considering Brit just found her package. It's possible Nathan delivered the drug vials and card for someone Faison, but there might be another explanation. What if Faison has somehow been given a second chance at life in Nathan's body? The show's done memory mapping storylines in the past, so they might be doing something similar here. That would explain why Nathan still has his own fingerprints and why he might sign Brit's card with a C for Caesar. Faison may be running the show in Nathan's head, so some wild stuff could be brewing. General Hospital spoilers say some curveballs are still to come in this storyline, so stick with us for updates on all the stunning news. General Hospital spoilers hint that Scout Quartermain may ask a heartbreaking Sam McCall question. Will Scout wonder if her mom's coming back like Nathan West and Brit Westbourne? Everyone in Port Charles assumed Brit was gone for good, but now she's shown back up in Port Charles alive and well. Nathan wasn't far behind, so now the news of his survival's going to spread too. At some point, Scout may get an idea stuck in her head after all these back from the dead updates. Perhaps Scout will start wondering if maybe Sam will be next in line for a sudden resurrection. Scout might pose that question to Drew Kane, Willow Tate, or even Elizabeth Baldwin, since she's been privy to all the return drama at GH. That could bring some awkwardness when it comes to explaining things to Scout, especially since there are so many new questions being stirred up through Nathan's comeback. Even so, no one will want to give Scout false hope when it comes to Sam's return, so Liz or someone else may gently insist she'll only live on in the memory of those who loved her. Nevertheless, Scout will be pretty down in the dumps after losing Monica Quartermain, and will no doubt be reminded of when she lost Sam. It could make Scout miss Sam more than ever and question why she's not getting a miracle parent homecoming like James West, or even Rocco Falconeri since his surrogate mom has returned. Of course, no one can rule out the possibility that Sam might truly come back in some form down the road. If Kelly Monaco ever works out a return deal or the show decides to recast, Sam might actually resurface in PC and reunite with all her loved ones. For now, General Hospital spoilers say Scout will have to deal with complicated grief and a big letdown, so stay tuned to see what the future holds for her. On the Tuesday, September 23rd episode of General Hospital, spoilers tease that Lulu seeks out Tracy. If she has heard about Monica's passing, it's a safe bet that Lulu will want to be there for her stepmother during this difficult time. If she hasn't heard, she soon will, and Tracy can certainly use all the love she can handle right now. Martin makes a mysterious phone call. He stops by the nurse's hub and tells Stella that he needs to see the congressman. Taken aback, Stella asks, "Why do you need to go see Drew?" Will he tell her all he has been doing to try to get Stella out from under Drew's thumb? Martin may have to wait his turn to visit Drew because former police commissioner Jordan is with him, and she's trying to give the most hated man in Port Charles a reality check. "This is your chance to turn it all around," Jordan insists. But spoilers tease that Drew issues new orders, so Jordan may as well be talking to a brick wall. Now that Anna is armed with more facts about the mystery man, namely that his fingerprints match Nathan's, Anna meets with Nina Reeves. The Crimson editor-in-chief has a question for Anna. What's going on? What Anna has to tell her can't be easy. It has to do with your brother, Anna tells her. Too bad Anna didn't talk with Felicia first. The poor patient advocate goes into the mystery man's room, and when she sees the spitting image of her late son-in-law, she's so startled she drops her files. Later, Anna and Felicia debrief. Portia, who secretly slept with Isaiah, talks with her estranged husband Curtis. They are forced to pretend their relationship is intact to keep them both safe from becoming suspects in the shooting of Drew. She suspects he has feelings for Jordan, so that doesn't make having to deal with each other any easier. "You made your choice, and you can't even admit it," Portia tells Curtis. Britt feels guilty. Jason has lost his mother, and he wasted precious time chasing her to Croatia. Is that why Britt is feeling guilty? I was exactly where I needed to be, Jason tells her. Share your predictions of what will happen next in the comments. Watch the preview for today's GH episode below, and be sure to watch the weekly promo if you haven't already. When the funeral services for Dr. Monica Quartermain begin this week, the pain General Hospital viewers see in the eyes of the cast will be all too real. This was, after all, the second time they were saying farewell. Several weeks after the January death of Monica's portrayer, friends and family came together for a special day of remembrance in honor of Leslie Charleson. Obviously, it wasn't easy for anybody, reflected Steve Burton of the scenes, as he explained during an episode of Stone Cold and the Jackal, the video podcast he hosts with Bradford Anderson. It was especially difficult because so much time had passed between the real-life death of Charleson and her beloved character's passing. The psychological part of already going to Leslie's celebration of life and kind of moving past that, then reopening the whole thing again was super painful. The memorial honoring Charleson's memory, held back in February, was a true eye-opener for Burton. I'm grateful for the time we had together, and I'll say this. Going to her celebration of life, she touched so many people. The actor says the celebration brought together people from all walks of life. What I don't think the public knew, and I certainly didn't know the extent of it, was how many people she touched. How many people showed up and got up and said, "She changed my life." It's a huge testament to the character of that woman, and it was such a blessing to be able to play her son. As for the tribute to Monica, which begins to unfold during the episode airing on Thursday, September 25th, Burton promises they're giving her the proper tribute, what we want, what the fans want, and what she deserves. Josh Kelly talked about how playing Cody lets him explore humor, heart, and heroics all at once. Josh Kelly has played soldiers, action heroes, and even shirtless heartthrobs, but nothing has brought him quite as much joy as stepping into Port Charles. Since arriving in 2022, General Hospital's Cody Bell has become a character filled with equal parts charm, chaos, and unexpected heart, and Kelly admits it's been one of the most rewarding roles of his career. Speaking with Woman's World, Kelly revealed that playing Cody has been especially meaningful because of his ties to one of the soap's most beloved clans. As a teenager, he watched GH with his sister and admired John J. York's Mac, even hoping one day to look like him. Years later, he found himself on set, knees shaking, as he filmed scenes opposite York and Christina Wagner. That nervous energy quickly gave way to gratitude, as Kelly was embraced by both veterans and the Scorpio family storyline. Cody's arc has mirrored that sense of belonging, shifting from an outsider with a questionable agenda to someone who's finally putting down roots in Port Charles. Kelly lights up when talking about how much he's enjoyed watching the character prove himself and forge bonds, and said the chance to become part of a legacy family is nothing short of a dream come true. General Hospital spoilers. For September 24th, tease the Quartermains continuing to mourn their late matriarch, another legacy family that Kelly's character has been welcomed into. What excites Kelly most is the range the role allows. Cody can wrangle kids and animals in one scene, spar with Jane Elliott's fiery Tracy in another, and then turn around and play rom-com beats opposite Kristen Vaganos' Molly. He explained that the reason he gets along with his co-stars is because I'm just a big kid, right? He then noted, "I've always gotten along with animals, so it's fun. And as far as the kids go, I still have that joy of acting." The kids look to him to figure out when to be serious and when to have fun. After having previously gushed over his new four-legged scene partner Bailey, who plays the lovable pooch Outback, it's clear that he gets along with everyone. Also, his time in the Army showed him that storytelling can be a good escape, especially when things get tough. That perspective fuels his work on Daytime and his upcoming action film, The Workout. But while he enjoys balancing other projects, it's clear GH holds a special place for him. Cody, he says, has given him the rare chance to combine humor, heart, and heroics all in one role, and that's why this part feels like a dream realized. General Hospital spoilers and updates tease Drew Kane may have been playing the long game to get his Quartermain name and legacy back. He may have been banned from the Quartermain mansion and forced to return to the last name, Kane, But he also may have anticipated Monica Quartermain's death. Viewers will recall that Martin Gray found a letter from Monica's long-lost sister, played by Erica Slezak, to Monica on the floor of Drew's house. The letter had been drawn on, it looked like, by a child, possibly either Wiley or Amelia Corinthos with crayons. When Martin saw it, Drew brushed it off and said it was something that must have come from the Quartermain house when Willow Tate brought her children to move in. But an important question needs to be asked here. Why would Monica, who grew up an orphan and the foster child of Gail Adamson Baldwin, give something so precious? Why would she relegate a letter from a sister she never knew she had to the children for scribble paper, no matter how much she adored the children? Tracking down a sibling or child given up for adoption isn't that unusual for that matter. Neither is a child looking for their birth parent. Monica never spoke of a sister, and Gail never mentioned one either. One would think that the orphanage might have wanted to place the girls in foster care together. It's not that strange to think that if there was a sister or half-sister, one of them may have wanted to track the other one down. What is strange is that Monica would give this letter to the children to color on, and that she never spoke of a sister tracking her down or her doing the tracking. And again, it's really strange that this letter was in Drew's house. Although Drew may have known that Monica was ill and may not live much longer, he couldn't have predicted her sudden death unless he's much more evil than we thought. Monica has been in failing health, although to think he may be behind her death is even more heinous a thought, but he could have been playing the long con in anticipation. Might he have taken a page from Valentine Cassadine's playbook and hired the woman to pose as Monica's sister, and Monica never even have received that letter? Drew could have had that letter in his house because it's as fraudulent as the sister, and she and he planned to con Monica out of everything while she was still alive. She may have sent it to Drew first for his approval before sending a copy to Monica herself, and when the kids moved in, they got a hold of it. General Hospital spoilers and updates tease Anna Devane and Felicia Scorpio will debrief in an upcoming episode of the ABC soap. Anna will have to tell Maxie Jones' mother, who also works as a patient advocate at the hospital, that Nathan West is alive. Felicia and Anna both saw Nathan buried in a full police funeral after he succumbed to a gunshot wound courtesy of his own birth father, Cesar Faison. Anna couldn't believe it when she, Dante Falconeri, Lucas Jones, and Elizabeth Baldwin all saw him brought into the emergency room. This was the victim of the truck accident that Harrison Chase that he had responded to, and Lulu Spencer had called in. With Britt Westbourne returning from the dead, it was easy to explain. She admitted that she had faked her death, not wanting her family to see her deteriorate from Huntington's disease. But nothing about Nathan's sudden resurrection makes sense, especially not the DNA test matching the earlier DNA test performed when Maxie was pregnant with James West. Once Anna is sure that Nathan is really Nathan, she takes care to brief Felicia before she finds out in the course of her work at the hospital. Anna takes her shocking intel the two matching DNA tests which Lucas was able to obtain to show Felicia, and she is shocked. They have no explanation for how Nathan, who they both saw put in the ground, could be alive. But there he is, but he's in no shape yet for asking any questions. Questions will have to wait until he's regained consciousness, and even then, they have to make sure of his cognitive status, considering he's had a head injury. At first, Anna thought perhaps this was someone who'd had plastic surgery to impersonate Nathan, or wearing a mask for nefarious reasons, until she got the DNA test evidence back. Felicia and Anna take into consideration that even though his burial cannot be explained away, Nathan could have been held hostage somewhere and broken free. Liesl Obrecht and Nina Reeves will also need to be briefed, as well as Britt, who's been rehired at GH. Felicia and Anna discuss that if Nathan had somehow been exhumed that night, possibly pronounced dead when he wasn't, and held captive, of course he'd be back for Maxie. Stranger things have happened. Anna herself was presumed dead for several years, and so was Robert Scorpio, and they weren't. They set about locating Liesl, Nina, and Britt to make the proper notifications. As Kelly Thiebaud revisits the Ben storyline on General Hospital, she recalls working with Tyler Christopher. Kelly Thiebaud returned to General Hospital and brought along some storylines from the past. For example, Britt's relationship with Rocco Ben has unlocked some memories from the original storyline. It's been over 10 years since the truth about Britt's deception was revealed, and Lulu and Dante got their son back. In the weeks before Kelly Thiebaud's return as Britt Westbourne, the General Hospital writers were preparing to revisit her relationship with Rocco. What was supposed to be Brooke Lynn getting back at Lulu turned into much more. While speaking with soap opera Diest, Thiebaud remembered the storyline that put her on the map over a decade ago. She opened up about her challenges during that storyline, including giving birth on the floor of Windermere. Britt then raised the baby boy she delivered as Ben for most of his first year. Thiebaud also remembered her time working with the late Tyler Christopher. He played Nicholas Cassadine as the storyline played out. Britt and Nicholas were to be married, but the truth about Ben being Lulu's and Dante's son came out during their engagement party. She said, "Tyler Christopher was so incredible, just on a regular basis, but in those particular scenes, he was so good." Thiebaud also revealed it was such a good memory for me. There are plenty of questions surrounding her back from the dead appearance in Port Charles. Britt has been exiled by her mom, Liesl Obrecht, and lives in Jason's apartment above Bobby's. There isn't much in Port Charles for her, and with the growing tension between her and Lulu, things are about to get more dramatic. With the recent discovery of Nathan West being at GH, there are even more questions. Did Britt know her brother was alive? Is the C initial on the note she received for Cesar Faison? With the questions getting more complicated, Britt will likely be front and center for a while. Also, next on GH, Tracy tempts fate. Portia seeks out Isaiah. Felicia frets about James. In addition to Ned and Brooke Lynn having a heart-to-heart, General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, September 24th, 2025, will also focus on Trina having questions for Jordan. The Quartermain family is really struggling emotionally with Monica's death. On Wednesday, Tracy tempts fate. However, Ned and Brooke Lynn have a heart-to-heart. Brooke Lynn may want to talk about her latest encounter with Gio, and that maybe there's hope for the two to establish a relationship after all. But it will also undoubtedly be about remembering Monica and telling stories about their time with her. Now, whether this includes Ned's scandalous past with Monica while he was a tennis instructor at a spa is anybody's guess. But it might be a topic of the conversation, considering Lucy and Tracy brought up Lucy and Alan's disastrous marriage in Monday's episode. They both acknowledged that despite Monica and Alan's various infidelities, they were the loves of each other's lives. In other Port Charles news, Trina has questions for Jordan. This interaction could be about a couple of things. First, Trina knows her parents' marriage is going up in smoke, and she may want to get Jordan's take on it since she and Curtis are close. Although Trina's smart, she probably knows her mom has issues with Jordan, and so she could have questions about Jordan's relationship with her dad. However, Jordan also recently had a conversation with Drew, so maybe Trina wants to talk about that and suss out whether Drew remembers anything integral about the night he was shot. Trina and Kai were in his house, and Trina has to be paranoid about anybody finding that out. Meanwhile, Portia seeks out Isaiah. This is interesting because even though the two had an affair, the last time we checked, Portia had backed off. She told him that nothing could happen again, and she was his boss, yada yada yada. But Portia and Curtis aren't in a good place. Their marriage is in shambles. So why is Portia turning to Isaiah again? Does she want to resume what she halted? Finally, look for Felicia to fret about James. She knows that Nathan, somehow, some way, has returned to the land of the living. Meanwhile, her daughter, Maxie, is in a coma on the East Coast. The family is dealing with a lot. But Felicia knows that if Nathan is alive, while amazing, it is perplexing at the same time. Something rotten has to be going on because Nathan's resurrection, plus Britt's faked death, can't mean good things are on the way. So, Felicia will probably become super overprotective of Nathan and Maxie's son, James. General Hospital spoilers tease Britt Westbourne's return to Port Charles has fans reeling, but her bombshell chat with Dr. Lucas Jones about her Huntington's diagnosis raises massive questions. Lucas told her she shows no signs of Huntington's symptoms, yet she insisted she would develop them without the mysterious meds she has been taking in Croatia. Urging Lucas to check her medical records from 3 years ago, which confirmed the diagnosis, Britt's calm facade hit a storm. Fans are gushing. Is she being played? Could someone have faked those test results? And her death? Are her symptoms a cruel trick? When Lucas noted Britt's lack of Huntington's symptoms during a recent hospital examination, it didn't stun her. Maybe that is expected, given her long-standing diagnosis. She doubled down, claiming her meds are keeping symptoms at bay, and pointed Lucas to her old records for proof. But her insistence feels off. Why so quick to defend a diagnosis if she's symptom-free? Fans speculate her original tests were tampered with, possibly by WSB operatives or Professor Henry Hank Dalton, to control her at the Five Poppies Hotel. If her symptoms were staged, via drugs or manipulation, it could explain her faked death, keeping her under someone's thumb. Britt's death by the hook killer already screamed conspiracy, but a fake Huntington's diagnosis takes it to another level. If someone, perhaps Pascal or Gen Z Sidwell, orchestrated her test results years ago, they could have induced symptoms like tremors through subtle poisoning or psychological tricks to trap her in lab work. The meds she has been taking might be placebos, sustaining the illusion of illness. Britt's push for Lucas to verify records suggests she's sniffing out the truth, but digging deeper could expose her to danger, especially if her captors are still watching. If Britt starts to question her diagnosis, she risks unraveling a twisted plot. Confirming a sham diagnosis could free her from fear, but implicate powerful players like the WSB. If Liesl Obrecht or Nina Reeves catch wind, they might rally to help, but Britt's secrecy, possibly to protect them, could backfire. Fans wonder if Jason Morgan will connect the dots, tying her ordeal to his own WSB past. Will Britt uncover a conspiracy or walk into a trap? Britt's future hangs in the balance as fans start to wonder whether she was ever sick at all. Stay tuned for more GH news and spoilers to see how this plays out. Portia refuses to let Curtis off the hook while Jason leans on Britt as emotions resurface, and Jordan insists Drew sees his second chance. The next General Hospital spoilers video for Tuesday, September 23, 2025, shows Portia confronting Curtis over his choices, while Jason tells Britt he was right where he needed to be, and Jordan urges Drew to take control. Aunt Stella asks Martin, "Why do you need to go see Drew?" She'll be stunned to learn that he made a deal with Drew to get the fraud investigators to back off from her. Speaking of which, Jordan implores Drew, "This is your chance to turn it all around." Advanced teasers state that Drew issues new orders, so either he's telling Martin what to do or trying to order Jordan around. Nina asks, "What's going on?" And Anna replies, "It involves your brother." Does Anna not know that Nina and Nathan are cousins, not siblings? It doesn't matter though, because Nina's going to be floored when she learns that Nathan, or someone who looks just like him, is in the hospital. As if on cue, Felicia walks into the hospital room of John Doe, really Nathan, and is shocked when she sees his face, causing her to drop her paperwork. She won't be able to believe her eyes, but that's okay because the weekly teasers show that Anna debriefs her. Portia tells Curtis, "You made your choice, and you can't even admit it." Portia needs to stop worrying about Jordan, and Curtis needs to focus on their marriage. Honestly, if these two don't reconcile soon, we're going to need a GoFundMe for their collective therapy bills. And Jason tells Britt, "I was exactly where I needed to be." He probably told her that he was the one who found Monica after she died in her sleep. Britt may not be able to resist a sad Jason, and they'll probably be on the road to a reunion. Jason's idea of romance is basically tragic stare, 5 words, motorcycle ride, and somehow it works every time. General Hospital spoilers reveal Kai Taylor is struggling with a terrifying thought. His fingerprints might be on the baseball bat at Drew Kane's shooting scene. Kai and Trina Robinson were hiding in Drew's bedroom, trying to crack his safe for blackmail docs on Portia Robinson over her Heather Weber medical tampering when the shots rang out. Kai grabbed the bat to check for the shooter, but they fled after snagging the papers. Now, rumor has it, suspicion is about to fall on Kai as his prints show up on the bat, even though he is routinely in and out of Drew's home. Word on the street is that Trina is going to step up with a false alibi, claiming they were together elsewhere, inadvertently shifting the spotlight to herself and risking her own freedom. Kai's panic stems from his impulsive grab of the bat while hiding, intended to defend if the shooter lingered, but now a potential smoking gun. With no criminal record, his prints might not be in the system, but that doesn't mean he's off the hook because the police need all prints from Drew's staff or anyone else who would have been in the house on a routine basis. As Drew's congressional intern, Kai had legitimate access to the home, but being at the scene during the shooting will flip the script and turn the investigation on him. When Kai's prints surface, Trina is rumored to rush to his defense with a fabricated alibi, claiming they were together far from Drew's place, but lying about the location to avoid admitting their break-in. This noble act could backfire, turning scrutiny on Trina if inconsistencies arise, especially with her family ties to Curtis and Portia. Trina's reluctance to leave the scene initially shows her compassion, but speaking up now risks exposing their safe-cracking mission, why they were there in the first place, and why they left him to potentially die. Will her lie save Kai, or inadvertently make her the new target in the investigation? Kai's fingerprints could expose more than his presence at the scene of the crime. Trina's DNA at the scene might link back to Portia's blackmail woes, unraveling the Ashford family when Stella Henry is already under fire. If Trina's alibi draws questions, it could weave a tangled web that points right back to her parents. Fans worry this blunder may lead to arrests, but a twist, like Drew recalling their voices, might flip the script. Drew could leverage what he remembers against them, but that would require going against his previous narrative about Michael Corinthos. Will Kai and Trina escape scrutiny, or will their secret blow up? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.